This is TK Irish, and I'm at the Camp Kennerk podcast today. And it's Sunday. It's sports. It's March, and that means we are getting ready for some baseball. America's pastime, the game that keeps on playing no matter what. But this game has been in our history for so many years. Wanted to take a quick trip back to show you how things really transcribed back then. So imagine this: 1883, a group of baseball teams became the Northwestern League. It was a minor league team in the Midwest, and they had teams in Milwaukee and Toledo and Minneapolis, Buffalo. But what it was, there was no real organizations going on. There'd be leagues that would be in business for a year. There would, people wouldn't get paid. So each league was its own independent business. There was no continuity there. But it was so popular that 1940, there were over 400 minor league teams in the country playing baseball, sliding, throwing, hitting, and getting people out there to play the game and have people watch it. Now, a lot of these people weren't making any money per se. They were working in the factories or the farms, but they wanted to play baseball. They just loved the game with the hope, well, maybe they might make it to the major leagues. So all that hodgepodge of stuff going on in the minor league system, there was a gentleman by the name of Branch Rickey. He is an executive in the baseball world. He was a general manager for the St. Louis Cardinals. And he had this bright idea of saying, well, maybe we should get some organization in this minor league deal. So he took it upon himself that the Cardinals would create their own set of teams, and he called it the Farm League. And what that is that they would train their players, work with them, and as players progressed and got better and better, then they would be called up to the Cardinals. And this was good for several reasons, because without the Farm League, anybody was anybody's property. The Cubs could go in there, grab a guy. The Pirates could do the same. So when you have the Farm League, you have some organization and structure. And now every team in the leagues has that. But I just wanted to share something with you about Branch Rickey. While being a very innovative individual for baseball, he is also credited for breaking the color line when he was at the Brooklyn Dodgers by signing Jackie Robinson. Yes, old number 42. He came in and he partnered with Branch Rickey. It was a struggle, but it worked. And to the point where in today's baseball world, you go to any major league stadium, you'll never see a player wearing number 42. That number has been retired permanently from all rosters because Jackie Robinson did something that what most people couldn't do. So that was a real blessing here. But, doing my research, I really wanted to see some things here. And so I got the scrapbooks out and wanted to share with you a picture of the 1890 El Paso Browns. Now, they don't look much like today's baseball players, do they? But that's all right. They loved the game. They had a ball, they had a bat, they had a mitt. And of course, you go up to Nebraska, 1910, Stewart's. This is a team picture. And scruffy young men, but once again, they loved the game. They wanted to do it, and they did it, and it was a lot of fun for them. So then we go back down to New Orleans. Yes, New Orleans. Their team was the Pelicans. This is a picture of 1910. So you can see that there was just a lot of love for the game. But now we're going on to the Olympics. This is the last weekend of the Olympics. And just got to say, I'm watching all this, the competition, the spirit of teamwork. But the one thing that I didn't see is I didn't see anybody on from the Irish Olympic team. Now, I don't know whether they decided they just didn't want to send the team over there because they thought they'd just beat everybody, and everybody start crying and belly aching that the Irish are here, the Irish are here, we can't win anymore. So, Doug, what's your story on why Ireland doesn't have an Olympic team?
TK, so good to see you on this Sunday morning, February 22nd. And we are on the last day of the Olympics. And that's a great question. Now, why doesn't the Ireland have a team in the Winter Olympics? You need to get the Kennerk boys and yourself to figure out which sport you can dominate so that you can enter the Winter Olympics in 4 years. You know,
That's a good idea. You know, just have to think about what they want to do, and see what I think maybe something along the lines like speed skating. Because they love to go fast, and you can't go much faster unless you're on a bobsled. Now that's the situation that we need to talk about. Irish bobsled team. I mean, Jamaica had a bobsled team. Ireland could have a bobsled team.
there you go, there you go. And but with the green hills there in Ireland, why does it have to be on ice or snow? Why isn't it sliding down a mountain on a piece of cardboard? You
Well,
know,
that could be a new category for bobsled, cardboard
yeah.
bobsled. Yeah,
Cardboard bobsledding, you see, and then you take it to the Winter Olympics, you're just on a cardboard box.
yeah.
Like the old days of soapbox derby, they were just built thing and then they go down there, and that became the whole aspect. Now we're getting a little confusing, but you've got 4 years for you and the Kennerk boys to come up with a sport that can represent Ireland in the summer or winter Olympics. My vote is the cardboard sliding down the green hills of Ireland in a cardboard sled.
Yes, but there's danger to that, Douglas, because they have a lot of sheep.
They'll run. They'll run.
Well, I'm not worried about the running part. I'm worried about the landmines that the sheep leave behind.
The landmines. Oh yeah. You may have to wear goggles. Now, TK, it's so good to see you on this Sunday morning. Do you have your coffee? I see that you have your coffee here.
I
Okay.
got my coffee right here, my man.
Get up and go, Joe. There you go. That's what we got. Okay. Now, this is kind of an interesting morning because you know that the I created the Possum Trot Bakery where we send out cookies to our service people overseas. And this is the start. This is the our fifth year doing this. And your son Kevin was a participant when he was in the Marines. We did send him cookies. You know that.
Oh yeah, yeah, and he still talks about that. How
Good, good,
oh,
good.
they can't. It was it was one of the serendipity things where he's telling me that they were out in one of these 24-hour walk training missions or whatever, just beat. And he comes in and there's that box from Possum Truck, and he's looking at it and going, "What the heck is this?" And open it up. Of course, all his buddies are looking around. What is that, Kev? What is that? And they open up cookies, a little slice of home. You
From the
know,
Possum Trot Bakery. Yes. And one of our bakers is my neighbor, Perry O, who lives next door. And we do these cookies, send these cookies out once a month, and he's a baker. And so Perio cooked up some cookies to send out this month, and I get a little tester. You see, one for taste, and the other for consistency. And then they're so good, I have to box them and get them out of here. These things are good, and these are made with espresso.
wow.
Yeah. And so there's one for you and one for me, but I'm eating yours. Okay.
Well, you might want to be careful. Don't eat that cookie before you go to bed.
Oh, I know. Espresso. Now, yes, the Winter Olympics are ending today, and why don't the Irish have a have a team in the Winter Olympics. Okay, yeah. So our suggestion of cardboard racing down those green hills, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
And you have a cousin there in Tipperary Springs, Ireland, Sean O'Malley. Is that correct?
that's right. Sean, I think Sean would be a great person to spearhead this drive.
I think so too. Okay, so that's that. Now, this is also uh, pitchers and catchers of spring training for baseball. American baseball has opened on up. It's the first week, and some of the teams in Florida in the Citrus League and in the Cactus League have already played a couple of games, warm-up games, and that sort of stuff. And you started talking about the farm system that was created by Branch Rickey at the Cardinals. Then he ended up at the Brooklyn Dodgers and very, very instrumental with them. And you were very kind to show that picture of the El Paso Browns, I believe they were called, in 1890. Now, that's a great juxtaposition because I'm from El Paso. Okay. And in the 1890s, El Paso was still pretty rough town. They were a pretty rough place. And there were gunfights in the 1890s, and a couple of famous ones with John Wesley Hardin and with the uh, 5 dead in 4 seconds shootout on Main Street. So it was a pretty rough place there on the border. But here were the El Paso Browns playing baseball. Okay, now it's kind of interesting. They have the bats and the balls, but I also did some research. They had a keg on every base.
Now that's my game, buddy. I mean, I guarantee you, they never had any problem getting people to come play the game.
So the games must have gotten pretty interesting around the seventh inning.
Maybe that's the reason why they created the 7 inning stretch.
Or pee.
Yeah, well, politically correct.
Yeah, you're in hot sun running around there. Now, the Browns started in about 1890, and then from 1974 to 2013, they were the Diablos. So when I lived there, uh, they were known as and excuse me, let me back up. 1890, they were the Browns, and then they were the Sun Kings from 1961 to about 1972. And then they were the Diablos from about 72 to 2013. So Browns, Sun Kings when I lived there. And I went to a couple of games and it was often kind of fun, all sorts of fun because after the game you could go onto the field and talk to the players. Not like today, so that sort of stuff. So it was the Browns, then the Sun Kings, Diablos, and then they're now called the Chihuahuas. The Chihuahuas. So if we can get Kevin, the magnificent computer dude, to post a picture of the Chihuahuas because they have a very interesting logo of the for their team, and a Chihuahua is a small dog, but also the in El Paso is located on the Mount Franklin and the start of the Chihuahuan Desert. So that's why it's there. And then about 200 miles south of El Paso is Chihuahua City, Mexico. So that's why they're the Chihuahuas. And they are part of the uh, Padres AAA team. Now let's back on up a bit. Yes, Branch Rickey formed the farm system. What we know today, we have a rookie league, we have a single A, a double A, and a triple A. So it levels of playing. Now on the Texas Rangers, my team, the Texas Rangers, Doug the neighbor. There was a player named Lankford. Last year he was in single A And then by the end of the season, he was playing for the Texas Rangers. That good a
No,
player. He jumped on up, that sort of stuff.
well, that's a
That's
great story. I mean, once again, as we always talk about, someone taking an opportunity and make the most of it. You know,
yes,
all I'm sure all his teammates in A were players. They were good players, but they were not going to make a jump to the next level for maybe a year. But
yes.
he was a little impatient, wasn't he? He decided, heck with that. I'm getting to the show now.
It's real simple. Throw the ball, hit the ball, catch the ball. You're a bunch of lollygaggers. Great quotes from Bull Durham. Life in the minor leagues. Now, going back a little bit, the one of the most famous people who ever played for El Paso was a young man named Kurt Russell, the actor Kurt Russell. And at that time, the El Paso team was a double A team of the California Angels. And in 1973, Kurt Russell played second base. And they were called the Sun Kings then. Yeah, the Sun Kings. And he was hitting 500 ball in double A playing second base, and then he was injured and he tore a rotor cuff and he went back to acting. Now he was a child actor, but he loved baseball and he thought he would be going to the pros. And so, but Kurt Russell. So every time I see him, I go, man, El Paso guy, that sort of stuff. So there you go, there on that sort of stuff. Now, baseball is a great, great sport. And there's a fantastic documentary that was made by Ken Burns. It's well worth taking a look at it. There's numerous movies about baseball, numerous. So we just mentioned Boulder. And they're always fun to watch, that sort of stuff. One of my favorites is what's the one about the Angels, the California Angels? Angels in the Outfield, which was that's always a beautiful thing. It's all about believing, and the kid sees angels and that sort of stuff. And Tony Danza played in it, and he had a very interesting role, and I always thought it was probably one of his best movies. And it was a remake of with William Broderick. Yeah, I think it was William Broderick. Angels in the Outfield back in the 30s. And there's been the Babe Ruth story, and then the Lou Gehrig story. Very sad story, but the great phrase of greatest day of my life playing for the Yankees, So that's a beautiful, beautiful story. Okay. So what we have here is the start of the season. Okay. Well, Camp Kennerk needs to have a team. We need to have a team.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. Why
Look,
not?
I've got my wiffle ball right here, bat and ball, and you've been to my place and you know that my front yard is the only flat area in the area. So
Uh-huh.
wiffle ball league. And then I've got my a Nerf ball here for throw it inside the house. And I got another one that's a little squeeze ball that I work at it, So I think Camp Kennerk needs a softball team. Now, when I was in New York City, for many years, I played for a team that played it was a community team that played every Saturday night. We'd play a couple of games, a softball. We had kids, we had women, anybody who showed up, we could play a Saturday, and then we go to the pub. It was good fun. Good
Well,
fun.
I'm glad you went to the pub after the game because
Uh,
unfortunately, I've seen situations happen in life where they go to the pub first, then try to go play baseball. So you've got the rhythm down, Douglas, and I'm proud of you for doing it that way.
Well, going back to the lessons learned with the El Paso Browns back in 1890 with the kegs on the bases,
Yeah.
that was eliminated the second year. So Now, here is what your information was absolutely fantastic. This came out of Wikipedia, doesn't come out of my brain. Uh, there are about 120 minor league teams, and they have different affiliations through the different leagues, and they play in smaller parks. And we're not talking about the Savannah Bananas that we'll talk about in a later show. This is just fantastic. But there's about 120 teams. So I was looking through the teams, and so I was looking for what a good name the Camp Kennerk team could be called. Okay, so here's some suggestions from other teams to show the variety. Variety. Okay. Now in El Paso, it's the Chihuahuas. Okay. Here in Round Rock, Austin Round Rock, it's the Express. I believe it's the team is owned by the Nolan Ryan family. His nickname was the Express. That sort of stuff. So here's some teams in Batavia, New York. The Muck Dogs. Muck Dogs. Okay. And in Florida, the Fire Frogs. Okay. Excuse me. In Idaho Falls, the Chuckers. Now, I don't know what a chucker is, so I had to look it up. It's a game bird. Like a pheasant, I guess, a game bird. Okay. And then in also in Idaho, they have the Spud Kings.
Now, I like that name, Spud Kings. I mean, there's no doubt about what's going on there because, you know, think about it. Every meal before the game, they got to have some protein and carbs, a spud, a potato.
French fries. French fries.
Hey, I mean to tell you, and they can have I think of the potato races. You got potato sack races. You got,
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. So and then in Missoula they have the paddleheads. Paddleheads.
that's in
I think
Montana. That's in Montana. So,
yeah.
that high altitude sometimes makes people a little off center when it comes to logics.
Somehow I think a paddlehead is a type of fish.
I think that's the name my father used to call me.
Paddle your head into oblivion. So, Camp Kennerk has got to have a name for the team. And we can send out, like in this podcast, we're recruiting. We're recruiting.
Yes.
And rule number one, which was what we had with our West Village softball team. And now my nickname, you always have to have a baseball nickname. You gotta have a baseball name. Mine was Dutch. I don't know why they called me Dutch, but they called me Dutch. Okay, Dutch. Okay. So eventually I found out that it's a term for a hard-nosed player.
Oh,
Okay.
well,
Okay.
that makes sense. I can see that going on.
Yeah.
Running over little kids,
Yeah.
knocking down women. Yeah, that's good, Douglas. That's really a great way to make an impression in your community.
And I was a pitcher and a catcher, which is going back to my family. My grandfather was a catcher for the Town League in Milton, Ontario, Canada. My dad was a catcher for the Army League. And then my mother played first base. And then I was a catcher. And then so a catcher and a pitcher, because in the softball, we had to have the ball arc up. And we had one rule: if you're any good, you can't play. And in New York City, because we're in a small park, it was called Leroy Park, so we had fences. So if you hit the ball over the fence, you're out.
Well, that makes sense because now you got to go all the way around the field and
Yeah.
go find it if it didn't land in some high grass.
or in somebody's window, car. So that was life there, and we had good fun on a Saturday night. Really look forward to it. So uh, Camp Kennerk's got to have a name for their softball team.
Okay, this is what we're going to do, Douglas. we're going to reach out to everyone in our galaxy, have them go into the comment area and leave us a comment what we think the team's name should be.
Absolutely true. Now, we like popcorn. Popcorn is, I think we have a special show coming up on the 25th with some popcorn, correct? Don't we have?
Oh, you won't believe what's going on with this one.
Yeah. Okay, so Camp Kennerk popcorns, Camp Kennerk corny pops,
How about Camp Kennerk Kernels spelled with a K?
kernels. Oh, I like that. I like that. Okay.
Or you got to remember, there's a name for when you pop popcorn. Some of them don't pop all the way; they just
Yeah.
sort of. Those are called old maids.
Oh, I'm liking this. I think we're on to something here,
I think
TK.
so too. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is beautiful information to start off the baseball season, a little bit of the history of it. I'm going to follow the El Paso Chihuahuas. I'm not sure when the minor leagues season opens. They don't, in the majors, they play 162 games. I think in the minor leagues that they play 100 games. The season ends in September, and then kids get called on up, that sort of something like that. But I'm going to follow the El Paso Chihuahuas, and I'll see if I can't find a hat to complement my uniform, my uni. And follow the Texas Rangers, and here in Austin, we also follow the Houston Astros. So really looking forward to it. Now you have to start consideration for an Olympic team to compete.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, in
Yes.
something.
Well, yep. Yep. We'll get that taken care of. Like I say, I'm getting my cousin Sean O'Malley over at Tipperary Springs involved, and he knows how to do this.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay. And then we have to find out and get a poll through our listeners around the galaxy the name for the Camp Kennerk softball baseball team. And you've got a big place up there at Camp Kennerk. Can we get a diamond up there? Can we
Oh
get some?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You got plenty of room. It's
Oh,
it's not flat. It's on the side of the hill. So
who
that's
cares?
what makes it that's what makes it fun because when you run home, you got a lot of speed going on.
Well, did you know that the University of Texas here in Austin, for many, many, many years, that the outfield had a cliff in it, a stone abutment. And so if the ball went up there, that was considered home run.
Ah.
Yes, and then they had to change because but I've got my wiffle bat and ball. I'm ready. So TK, let's play ball.
I'm here for you, buddy.
Go
There we go,
Cowboys.
bro.